So you might be thinking, yes, that is a wedge, but yes, that is a graphite shaft. And we've been talking about a lot this year on the Everyday Golfer about what kind of shafts you have in your clubs. And one area of the game that's often overlooked is the short game. And for me in short game, a lot of people struggle. And why do they struggle? Well, they don't understand what you need to do with releasing the club, matching it up with the body. Again, you go for lessons, you might get that quick fix, but it could be down to the clubs you are using. You could be somebody who needs or gets a better feel from a graphite shaft. And why would we have that? Well, if you think in putters now, you think about the Stroke Lab Odyssey putters, they've gone to them for a reason. You're going to get a little bit more feel in the head of that putter, you're going to be able to swing it a little bit better, and that's exactly what we want to do with a wedge. It's what we want to do with all the clubs. We want to swing the clubs, we don't want to hit at the golf ball. And for me here, we'll get a lot more feel of that head. So the head here will feel a little bit heavier than the shaft, and then from there I can start to get that feel that I can let the club do the work. And it's the age-old saying of, yes, let the club do the work, but we have to let it do that with a turning body. For me, I've had this wedge in my bag for a while now because I just enjoy the feel of that. The shaft is an 80-gram shaft, so 80 grams, if we think about a normal shaft in your irons, could be up to 120. So 80 grams is much lighter. We've got 40 grams there. We've taken the weight out of here. The head is kept. Obviously, the head will have been changed a little bit, but we're keeping more weight in the head to get that feel. And what it's allowed me to do is just get a better understanding of where that is in my downswing and what kind of shot I'm trying to play. So if I'm trying to play a lower shot here, I can get my ball position and set up correct. I can make a longer swing. Just let that club do the work. And you can see there, I've got a mid to low trajectory there, and it's done exactly what I want it to do. There, I don't feel like I'm putting any real swing into that because I feel like the club head is releasing at the right time, the speed's there, and as long as I make the right length of backswing, I'm going to be able to judge my distance better. If I was just trying to play a shot just onto the front edge of the green here and I was trying to play it a little bit higher, again, all I'm going to do is adjust my setup a little bit. I'm going to get a little bit more loft on that face. I'm going to make a longer swing and just let that club head release. And you see the difference in the ball flight there. It's popped straight up. And for me, what we want to do when we're thinking about short game is just get the basics right, because a lot of people come for lessons. And again, guys, if you're looking to improve your short game, then do drop me an email on that email below. But a lot of people come and they haven't got the setup right. So we're already stood like we're going to hit it 100 yards here. I've got a wide stance. I'm a long way away from the ball. Hands are reaching. And again, my weight is even. From here, we often see the classic of I will start to move off the golf ball and then start to fall back. And unfortunately, we hit that in the middle of the golf ball and send it rifling through the back of the green. So we need to have the basics right. But think about it, how many of you have actually been for a wedge fitting? That's one big thing we do here at Waterfront Golf, and there's many places up and down the country that do that. But have you been for one? It's very much similar to have you been for a putter fitting? We all know you've probably been fitted for your driver, for your irons, for your fairways, for your hybrids. But have you had your wedges fitted? Have you got the right shaft in there? Or have you done what 99% of people do? And including me, I've made this mistake over the years when I was purchasing golf clubs as a junior. You just fit it in with your sets. You just say, can I just get the same shafts in the wedges as I've got in my set? Because that just works. That's what I think's right. And the fitter most of the time will just go, yeah, that's easier for me because we haven't got the wedges in, we haven't, or you didn't in previous years, you didn't have those clubs to be able to fit, but now we can do that. We can get you into the right shaft. And again, grip size also will make a difference. So now let's say I want to play a mid trajectory one. So I'm going to make sure that I get my stance nice and narrow. You see from even back there when we're playing a 40-50 yard shot, stance is no more than a club width apart. Left foot is turned out, my weight is left, and then from here I'm going to try and keep this simple. I'm not thinking about hinging my hands, I'm not thinking about moving off the ball, I'm not thinking about a big turn, which is what we see from a lot of people. I want you to feel weight is left, we're going to make a wider swing, and you'll see there, club finishes out in front of me. I'm very close to going in, but that is well inside tour average. And don't be afraid that you're going to have a little bit of interaction with the turf, because if we're releasing that club head, it's going to match in, our weight is left, we're still hitting down into that golf ball. But for me, where this shaft really starts to come into its own is in there. So in the bunker here, obviously one big thing I see from your higher handicappers and the guys who struggle in the bunkers is we start to see this position here. Yes, we've opened the club face, but we start to drive those hands. Again, club's a little bit heavy. We don't release the club and we start to see the shots that will, oh, that's not really done the job. And you see there, yes, it has got out. I've made contact with the sand, but it's nowhere near my intended target. Obviously here, what we're starting to get that feel of is that club head is releasing and we're starting to work it around our body. And again, in the finish here, we should start to see that that club face is pointing back at myself. So I can see all of the club face, it's not turned over there, and it's also not pointed the other way, and it's not also held off like we've just played a cover drive. That's a cricket reference if you're not from the UK. But what I want to see here is that we can let this club just swing. I'm not trying to hit it overly hard. And you see there, I've let that club head release. That's got out there. And that's where I've got some forgiveness from there. That wasn't a perfect strike. That was caught maybe an inch or two before, but it still got out. I've got that club head catching up with my hands. If that maybe was a steel shaft, that might have entered the sand a little bit early. It might have been a little bit further back, and as a result, it might have stayed in the bunker. So we are getting that little bit more forgiveness from here. But again, let's see if I can get a good one. Better flight, a little bit of spin, and ran out there on these firm greens. But you can see there how easy that was. I've not had to try and go at it full speed. I'm not trying to absolutely leather it, as mid-handicap Dave would say. That's a technical Yorkshire term. And I've been able to get the ball out. So we're ticking a lot of boxes, like I say. Can we control it on your pitch shots or your chip shots? Can we control it in the bunker? Yes. But what is it like on a full shot? Are we going to lose distance? Let's find out. And this is the fear when you have graphite shafts. Everybody puts off going into graphite because they think, right, well, I'm going to lose distance. Yes, the shafts are lighter, I should get some more speed, but they're for older golfers, they're not for me. But that's not the case. Obviously here, yes, the shaft is lighter. We're 100 yards out here. And again, I wouldn't necessarily play a full shot with a wedge, but to prove the point that I can easily get there, I'm going to go to a normal stance here. I'm going to make a full shot. You'll see there, high towering flight, just left of the flag, but that's landed in the middle of the green. So for me there, that's gone probably 105, 110. So again, that will be exactly the same as if I was hitting a Vokey with a steel shaft, or even hitting this Cleveland Zip Core CBX full face wedge with a steel shaft in. That would go the same distance. I wouldn't necessarily be getting a drastic difference in that, and I certainly wouldn't be getting the big drop off that everybody thinks. And if I now want to try and get one close to the flag, again, a little bit heavy there, but just getting to the front edge of the green. And that shows there, not a great strike. That was me, not the club. It wasn't the shaft. That was just a poor swing. But I've still got that forgiveness from it. I've still got it to the front edge of the green. So for me, guys, if you're looking for your wedges, if you're wondering, well, I've had all of these lessons, I've started to maybe look into what you have in your wedge. What is your wedge setup? Do you have the right shaft? Do you have the right feel of the club head? Because a lot of the short game is down to feel. Yes, we have to have good fundamentals, but then it might be your feel of where that club head is that will help you get a better strike. So certainly give us a look here at Waterfront if you want to get a wedge fitting, or there's other places up and down the country now that could be closer to you that could help you chip a little bit better.